Chapter 6, Stress No. Having settled comfortably on the couch, you are watching a thriller movie. Its riveting storyline and brilliant performances have you hooked. Just when a plot twist unfolds, there is a commercial break. You obviously know that commercial breaks are inevitable, but you lose your calm since the action you were waiting to enjoy has been slowed down. The timing is wrong and the interruption is long. So, while waiting for the movie to resume, you criticize and blame the TV channel for ruining the viewing experience. In a way, emotional stress works similar to this. Actually, we let it work this way. We want our life to flow smoothly without interruptions. But just as we begin to enjoy a particular scene, there comes an interruption which slows things down. We feel annoyed, we feel stressed, and we blame that interruption for our stress. We even let the stress remain until the scene resumes normally. Not all of us are familiar with the definition of emotional stress, but most of us have experienced it to a point where it can be called a global epidemic. This has led us to believe that a little stress is natural and obvious. We often talk about managing or coping with stress instead of eliminating it altogether, as though it is an inevitable reality of life. In its basic form, emotional stress is a pain which occurs to tell us there is something we need to change internally in our mind. There is either something that we want and are not getting, or there is something we do not want but have in our life. We create emotional pain in either of these cases. This pain hampers our very nature of being happy, peaceful, and healthy individuals. The disturbed state of mind, in turn, makes our daily tasks harder to handle when stress trickles into every aspect of life: personal well being, relationships, and career. Heading: The stressors in your life. What is the cause of stress in your life? Perhaps you have so many answers to this that you cannot really pinpoint one factor and say, this is it. For instance, cooking is enjoyable for someone, it stresses out someone else. Someone thrives under pressure. Someone else feels stressed even at the thought of pressure. One person enjoys parenting and another finds it stressful. Somebody does not mind working 15 hours a day while somebody else feels stressed about just 5 hours of work. Essentially, what one person finds easy can be stressful for another. But in general, we hold various situations responsible: deadlines, exams, routines, performance pressure, challenges, relationships, conflicts, disagreements, expectations, peer pressure, competition, goals, past experiences, failures, meetings, work, finances, illness, separation, death, change. One can keep adding to this list. Heading: The culprit is closer than you think. Stressors are what we believe are the cause of our stress, and stress is what we believe is our natural response to them. But is that true? How many times do we find ourselves and people around us saying, I have an exam, obviously I will feel stressed. My child does not study well, obviously I am stressed. Thinking of my low bank balance stresses me out. It is easy to blame external factors for our stress, as it means we do not have to take personal responsibility. We mostly wait for situations to get sorted, for health to improve, for the boss to be kinder, for our spouse to be more understanding, for exams to be easier to crack, for children to behave better, for a business to flourish, so that our stress would come down. Even if we take action to change circumstances, we tend to do it with a disturbed state of mind, creating negative emotions like worry, anxiety, fear, insecurity, aggression, irritation, or anger. Life brings unexpected events before us. We can control only a small fraction of them. Yet, we set expectations of how scenes should unfold and get emotionally attached to our expectations, believing that is what is right for us. Therefore, each time there is a change, although we know change is inevitable, we have a fight or flight response. We hesitate to come out of our comfort zone. We try to reject or escape it. When our apprehensive thoughts accumulate in the mind, our inner power reduces. We experience an inner discomfort, an inner weakness, an inner pain, and this pain is stress. Recall the situation of the world when the coronavirus pandemic set in. It imposed huge changes in several aspects of our lifestyle. Our thoughts had the negative energies of fear, apprehension, and panic, not just for a few days, but for several months. As a result, millions across the globe created stress. On the other hand, a few people who accepted the changes and adapted to them experienced little to no stress. Embracing the changes enabled these people to silence the mind and focus on solutions. They utilized the lockdown for self care, having understood the importance of good health for both the mind and body. They practiced meditation and yoga, engaged in serving others, and spent time with their families. Such individuals came out empowered at a time when others felt overwhelmed. Consider another example. Until 5 years ago, most people looked forward to the weekend. They felt workplaces were stressful. Today, they have started feeling that family life is stressful. The truth is, neither is the workplace stressful nor the family. Neither do projects create stress nor children. It is our uncomfortable thoughts day after day, year after year that deplete our energy. Thus, stress is not a result of what happens in our life. Stress is a result of our incorrect response to situations. As we know, our response is formed by the beliefs we hold and thereby the thoughts we create. There are 3 points. First, stress is not caused by situations, it is caused by the way we think in every situation. Second, stress is not caused by people, it is caused by the way we think and feel about them. Third, stress is not caused by obstacles, failures, or setbacks in life. It is caused by the way we perceive our efforts and results. It is easy to point the finger of blame for our stress in other directions. The good news is that we have decided to take personal responsibility for how we think and feel in every situation. We are the creators of our stress and we are perfectly capable of becoming stress free. If the world was the cause of our stress, then we can never be stress free because the world will not function the way we want it to. But our mind can get rid of stress completely, and this awareness is power. This is liberation. This shreds away the long list of causes of our stress and puts us on track to get rid of stress completely. The first secret to eliminate stress is to know that being stress free is an easily achievable goal. The second secret is to know that one person can do it the self. All we need is to pay attention to our thoughts and feelings through self care. When we do this, our spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social, and professional health will heal in ways which we had never imagined. Heading: How effective are de-stressors? Many young children are fascinated by fire. Out of natural curiosity, Some of them touch the flame of a lit candle, a lighter, or a matchstick. The incredibly painful burn on their finger teaches them a lesson. They receive the message to be careful and not play with fire again. Similarly, when we experience stress, we need to learn the lesson to change our response. But often, we find ourselves resorting to watching TV, shopping, partying, holiday, smoking, or consuming alcohol and other such distractions when stressed. Do any of these thoughts sound familiar? There are 5 points. First, music is my biggest de stressor. Next, nothing like a vacation to break free from stress. Next, let us watch a movie to relieve this stress. Next, a spa treatment is so soothing, it removes my stress. Next, lighting up a cigarette makes me forget my stress. Unfortunately, none of them are de-stressors. They are merely temporary deviators or distractors from the sensation of pain. These distractions can only help us take a break, change the environment, or relax the body. But none of them can remove stress. Stress is emotional pain in the mind, and the mind is our child within. Leaving a child to cry for long is never a good idea. Instead, if we take 5 minutes to address the problem and counsel the mind with the right thoughts, the child that is our mind will stop crying. Suppose a person has a tooth decay causing him pain. It requires dental treatment. However, he thinks this novel is supposedly a bestseller. Let me read it. I will feel better. His thoughts thus shift from pain towards a different pattern of pleasure based on the storyline. The pain is subdued or masked temporarily. Sure enough, he does feel the ache returning when he puts the book down. The question is, what happens if he keeps distracting his mind from pain for hours or for days? The problem will no longer remain just a tooth decay. The infection will spread and lead to complications. The same happens with untreated stress or any other negative emotion for that matter. The longer we keep distracting our mind from stress, the more it intensifies. Today there are umpteen distractions, so we find it easier to divert our mind towards them than to heal emotional pain. We are not even aware that we are distracting our disturbed mind. We have made the distractions a normal part of our life. When was the last time you sat just with yourself, doing nothing, without even reaching for the phone, the TV remote, or a book? Gone are the times when we would ease into being alone and relish solitude. Some of us feel uncomfortable being alone with ourselves. Now we feel lonely when on our own, even for an hour or two. In fact, some of us feel lonely even in the company of people. This can be a symptom of deeper issues like anxiety, stress, or depression. Make it a practice to sit doing nothing for a few minutes every day, away from all distractions, and follow these simple steps to see how you can diagnose your thoughts and begin healing your mind. Step 1. Begin with 5 minutes of me time and gradually increase the duration. You will become aware of what is troubling your mind. Step 2. Write those thoughts down to understand them better. Let your ideas flow freely. Writing them helps you identify what is causing negative or wasteful thoughts. Those are the thoughts which need healing and can otherwise lead to stress. Step 3. Be a friend to yourself and start writing the answer to your thoughts, just like you would reply to the messages of your friend. Write as though you are helping them to resolve their issues and pulling them out of their pain. Step 4. Observe how the activity of writing out the answers will help you think differently and, most importantly, with a detached outlook. Your mind may not be healed right away, but you will start looking at the problem with a new perspective. Step 5. Sit with your mind again the next day and the next until you arrive at a solution. Step 6. Implement the solution on yourself. It is possible that the solution is not something that has to be implemented outside. Situations like death have no solution, but the mind needs to be healed from the pain of loss. Soon you will master the art of healing yourself. Your stability will influence and empower others. This practice of me time will equip you over a period to reach a stage where you will not even create pain in the first place, as your mind would have learned the right way of thinking. Heading: Recognize the warning signs. Contrary to popular belief, stress is not caused because of more responsibilities or working for 15 hours a day. One can complete 1,000 tasks each day while remaining calm, happy, and easy with absolutely no trace of stress. Stress has nothing to do with the doing. It is all about the state of being. It is all about how we think and feel in every instance. So, it is important to examine our mind and recognize any symptoms of stress. Whenever there is discomfort in your mind, pause and check. There are 3 points. First, were your thoughts negative or wasteful? Next, did you feel overwhelmed or helpless? Next, were your words and behavior rude, critical, or aggressive? Here are a few pointed questions to drill down and introspect further. There are 6 points. First, were you upset about yourself or someone else? Were you scared, irritated, angry, or frustrated about a situation? Was your mind preoccupied with questions like why, what if, but then? Were you dwelling on the past or worrying about the future? Were you doing any task unwillingly? Were you hurrying yourself or other people? Even if you cannot diagnose at the level of thoughts and feelings, you can easily check how you felt physically. There are 2 points. How were your bodily sensations? Next, did you experience shortness of breath, faster heartbeat, perspiration, trembling hands, dryness in the mouth, heaviness in the head, and so on? If your answer is a yes to any of these questions, it becomes your responsibility to take immediate action to change your thoughts. You owe it to your mind. Otherwise, wrong thinking patterns created over a period of time will create stress. Heading: The signs of stress. Even 25 to 30 years ago, people faced several challenges, yet no one said, I feel stressed. Stress was just a term explained in physics textbooks and classrooms. It was not a part of conversations to refer to the state of mind. Today, most of us like to say, I am stressed. We feel it conveys that we are busy, we are going the extra mile, and we are more successful. In other words, sometimes we wield the word stress as a status symbol. Unfortunately, society today has too many people competing to see who is more stressed. The word stress is often used interchangeably with pressure. For example, a target or deadline at office is a pressure on us, but we wrongly term it as work stress. An exam is a pressure on us, but we wrongly call it exam stress. The formula for stress is equal to pressure or resilience. ब्रैकेट में स्ट्रेस इज इक्वल टू प्रेशर डिवाइडेड बाय रेजिलियंस. प्रेशर डिवाइडेड बाय रेजिलियंस वेयर फर्स्ट न्यूमेरेटर pressure is equal to external situations like pandemics, exams, targets, health, goals, money, job loss, time, traffic, relationships, weather, and so on. Pressure refers to the situations coming to us. Pressure is an external factor that is not always under our control. Today, pressures have increased. There are more changes in the education system, work culture, expectations in relationships, lifestyle, social conditioning, and so on. Next, denominator. Resilience is equal to our inner strength, including our consciousness, perspective, thoughts, feelings, words, actions, qualities, values, and principles. Resilience is our inner power to face pressure. We are the creators of our resilience, and it is always under our control. Under any situation, 10% depends upon the pressure and 90% depends upon our resilience. Therefore, stress is equal to our situations divided by our inner strength. Stress is not caused because of increased pressures. It is caused by reduced resilience. Our lifestyle has also been feeding stress. Many of us are only too familiar with these habits that are reducing resilience. Sleep deprivation, junk food consumption, plugging into technology constantly, too much screen time, toxic content consumption, and emotional adjustment issues. In the process, we have ignored powerful practices like spiritual study and meditation. Heading: Your ability to bounce back. Consider the cycle of seasons. If it is summer today, in a few months it will be monsoon. We will not just sit at home saying it is raining. We say, never mind if it rains, I am ready with my raincoat and umbrella. We protect ourselves and do not blame the weather. Likewise, we need to learn the mechanism of protecting our emotional state from adversities by becoming resilient. Pressures certainly do not seem to be abating, they are only going to increase. Let us not become so focused on controlling the pressures that we do not seem to have the time to enhance our resilience. Resilience is like a muscle that we can develop and strengthen rather than a quality we are born with. Suppose an employee is given a deadline of 24 hours to complete his project report. It is a target or pressure. It is important to set targets because otherwise he might take 4 days to finish it. But the minute he is told, complete this by tomorrow evening, he starts panicking. Suppose he starts creating these thoughts. There are 3 points. First, this is scary. How will I finish the report by tomorrow evening? Next, if I do not complete this task in time, how will my future in this company look? Next, my report was not up to the mark last time. I better do a good job now. This means he is working on the task with a stressed mind. Suppose his teammate is also asked to prepare a report independently within the same deadline and she thinks 3 points. First, I am focused. I can do anything I decide to do. Next, I will certainly complete this easily by tomorrow evening. Next, this will be my best presentation till date. This means she starts off with faith and determination. Both will eventually complete the report, which means both will reach the destination, but their journeys will be different. One will reach there creating stress because of negative thoughts, the other will reach with stability because of powerful thoughts. Heading: 7 life skills to beat stress. We are supposed to build immunity by following a good diet and exercising every single day. It is never going to be enough if we start eating healthy and exercise on the day that we fall ill. Resilience works the same way. We need to build it systematically, daily, not once a week, and not only when time permits. It cannot be created overnight by sitting in meditation or creating affirmations on the day an adversity strikes. Here are 7 skills that increase your resilience every day. They create an inner shift in your ways of being, ways of thinking, and ways of living. Skill 1: Write your story, not theirs. We are the script writers, directors, and actors of our movie of life. But throughout the day, when we watch or interact with others, We keep writing mental scripts of how they are, how they should be, and what they should do. In the process, we forget to sort, fix, or perfect our own role. Thinking of someone else is an unnecessary pressure we put on ourselves. Our co actors are responsible for their roles. They write their own scripts and follow them. Focus on perfecting your own performance. Do not think about other people. Let your style and your personality of peace, love, and kindness reflect in every scene of your life. Create what you enjoy watching. Even if other actors don't perform right, your performance can give them a cue to correct themselves. Remind yourself in every scene, I focus on my role, my script. I bring out my style of peace and power with right thoughts, pure words, and perfect behavior. Skill 2. Make acceptance natural. All of us hold a desire that the world should bend to our wants, and when it does not, we start winning or questioning the circumstance. We even dislike ourselves, our home, family, friends, or career in such moments. It means we do not go with the flow. We try to block or push away the reality in our thoughts and feelings. Most of our stress comes from this inner struggle to wrestle with the natural flow. Our stiff resistance becomes a barrier to peace. Besides, the act of resisting depletes inner power and creates stress. Do not ask why, where, when, or how difficult experiences inevitably occur. Shift from asking, what is this, to accepting as this is it. When you surrender to the reality instead of resisting it, you conserve energy. This conserved energy can then be used to focus on solutions and new possibilities. Start with acceptance of people and situations and then influence them or empower them to change. Be open to newness and changes. Remind yourself, I accept whatever is happening. People and situations will be their way. I remain calm and influence them to change. Skill 3. Choose your words wisely. Words are the most powerful tools at our disposal, but they are often underrated. Many of us are in the habit of speaking far more than is necessary. Whether it is to ask, inform, explain, advise, convince, or impress, we tend to overthink and hence overspeak. This urge to speak does not leave the margin to choose our words carefully, add value, or speak pleasantly. It becomes difficult for us to connect with our inner peace. Excessive talking depletes our energy and eventually increases stress. Practice speaking less throughout your day. After a few weeks, begin to speak more softly. Observe your vocabulary and eliminate low energy or negative words. Gradually, your words will raise your vibrations, the vibrations of situations and of the people around you. You will be more at ease with yourself. Remind yourself, I speak less, speak softly, and speak sweetly. I create peace by choosing words that energize and empower. Skill 4. Flip negative labels. All through our life, people bombard us with labels for who we are or are not, based on our achievements, appearance, background, personality, or possessions. Negative labels are risky because we come to believe them and accept those labels as our reality. When we repeat them over and over in our thoughts, our mind and body respond and start living by that label. This causes us to feel bad or dislike ourselves. Nothing is more stressful than self hate. Review the labels you describe yourself with. Replace every single negative label with a pure, powerful, positive label. If you have called yourself a failure, write down the things you have succeeded in. Make them your vocabulary. Repeat them consistently for a few days until they stick and get reinforced as your truth. Feeling good about yourself is a huge step in experiencing peace. Remind yourself, I label myself with only and only positive words. I am aware that my labels manifest my destiny. Skill 5. Listen to the tutor within. We take dozens of decisions every single day and at times struggle to discern rights and wrongs. The doubt and deliberation can become stressful. Fortunately, we have all the answers we seek within us. Our innate wisdom (bracket में inner voice, intellect, intuition or gut feeling) in the subconscious mind is always active and guides us correctly. We have all experienced our intuition at work. We say, I wish I had listened to my instincts, or something tells me this is not good for me. All we need is to listen to it. Otherwise, our responses will be driven by the stored patterns of our old sanskars. Spend a few minutes with yourself in silence every day. Introspect on the consequences of your actions before choosing your karma. That is when you will hear the intuition. Do not doubt that inner voice and do not fear any challenges that might come up after you execute intuitive decisions. Remember that your intuition always knows what is right for you. Remind yourself, I am intuitive. Each time I need to take a decision, I calm my mind and surrender to the wisdom within, and it always gives me the right answer. Skill 6. Make trusteeship a lifestyle. We are bestowed with so much in life: body, relationships, achievements, material possessions, and natural resources. We are supposed to take care of them and use them as trustees. But somehow we assume ownership of everything that we have and become emotionally attached to them. Where there is attachment, there will be fear of losing. And where there is fear, there will be stress. Despite knowing that we will eventually lose all what we possess, we still cling on to them and hope to never part with anything. Practice a new consciousness. Instead of ownership, be a trustee. Change how you relate to whatever you feel attached to. A trustee knows that he is entrusted to manage someone else's assets. So, as a trustee, you can take better care because it would be caring without fear, possessiveness, or control. This will keep your mind at ease and relaxed. Remind yourself, I value and care for everything I have. I am not attached to or dependent on anything. I am fearless, I am a trustee. Skill 7. Transcend illusions about yourself. Self-awareness is a precursor to emotional stamina. Unfortunately, many of us do not know our reality as souls even after having lived for 30, 50 or 70 years. Even if we know, we keep identifying with the body and the labels of roles, positions and achievements. We first stress about gaining all of them and then stress about holding on to them. After all, how we perceive ourselves influences how we see the world around us. Regaining the awareness of the self puts a lid on our illusions. Stabilizing the truth of the self, being a peaceful soul, helps us to easily recognize emotions like fear, anxiety or pain, which can otherwise leave us stressed. You are a soul who is an embodiment of peace and power. Hold on to this truth so tightly that the awareness does not slip away while you keep acquiring positions in life. Roles, positions and achievements certainly deserve your time and attention, but do not let them steer you away from your real identity. Remind yourself, I am a soul. I am peace. I am love. I am power. I radiate peace and happiness. Stress triggers several other disturbing emotions that in turn lead to unpleasant consequences. Therefore, do not settle for managing or reducing stress. A little inner work is all it takes to eliminate it completely. Remember that shifting to a stress free life is easily achievable because it depends only on one person, yourself. Chapter 6 complete.